A sunny Saturday in the nation's capital. A perfect day for baseball on Fox. And what a matchup we have for you today. The Arizona Diamondbacks off to their best ever start, meeting Bryce Harper's Washington Nationals. The D-backs in D.C. to take on the Nats. Next on Fox Sports. Good afternoon from Nationals Park and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. Well, here we are. The final Saturday in April finds the Arizona Diamondbacks with the National League's best record at 18-7. There are many reasons why. Their manager, Torey Lovullo, will tell you it's the starting pitching that sets the tone. Well, that would make Patrick Corbin the tone setter. He's been among the best in baseball, and he's on the mound here today.
Yeah, the opening day starter for the Diamondbacks this year. He's looking to go a perfect 5-0 to start the season. He's done that before in his career when he went 9-0 in his All-Star year back in 2013. Patrick has had outstanding fastball command. That wipeout slider has been devastating.
Well, he's facing a right-hand heavy lineup for Dave Martinez in the Nationals this afternoon. The only lefty bat in there is Bryce Harper, who's not getting anything to swing at these days.
Oh, he leads the major leagues with 32 walks already this season. He is tied for first in the National League with 8 home runs, so that will tell you when he does get something to hit, he's putting a good swing on it. He needs some help from the others in that Nationals lineup. Hasn't had any protection up to this point. A lot of guys on the disabled list.
This one should be fun. Corbin and the D-backs, Harper and the Nationals on Fox Sports. First pitch is next. Today's broadcast of Major League Baseball is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The Card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the Card today. And by your Valley Honda dealer, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Choose Chaz. By Tire Pros of Arizona, everything rotates around you. And by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box. The D-backs holding the National League's best record, matching the best start in club history at 18-7. And rolling along, winners of 5 of 6. Sunny, little breezy here, but a very pleasant Saturday in Washington, D.C. 70 degrees. Welcome in Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh along the way. Here's the lineup for the D-backs. It's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
David Peralta will lead it off out in left field, followed by Gerard Dyson playing right field today. A.J. Pollock out in center. Daniel Descalso playing third base this afternoon. Christian Walker getting a rare start at first base in place of Paul Goldschmidt. Ketel Marte will be at second base. Alex Avila doing the catching with Nick Ahmed at short and lefty Patrick Corbin on the mound.
Right-hander Jeremy Hellickson, the former Diamondback, your Ram truck starter for Washington, a late free agent signee. A minor league deal in the middle of March, so he's been playing catch-up somewhat. His third start with the Nationals makes his home debut here today.
He'll throw a four-seam fastball. He'll cut his fastball into the lefties. He'll sink it into the righties. He also throws a really good straight changeup, which is his best out pitch. Mixes in an occasional overhand curveball.
A look around the diamond at the Washington defense. That's brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Moises Sierra in left field today with Michael A. Taylor in center. Bryce Harper over in right field. It'll be Adrian Sanchez, Trey Turner, Howie Kendrick, and Ryan Zimmerman third to first across the infield with Pedro Severino Doing the catching for right-hander Jeremy Hellickson.
David Peralta swings at the first pitch, drives Sierra back to the track in left field, and he runs it down. Voices Sierra tested right away. 1 pitch, 1 out for Hellickson. Your plate umpire this afternoon is Nick Lentz, calling the balls and strikes. Bill Welke's at first base. The crew chief Mike Everett is our second base umpire, and Tony Randazzo is at third.
Some clouds, some sunshine today. It'll be popping in and out all afternoon, but it appears that the guys on the right side of the field, first base, second base, and the right field, are going to have some sun issues this afternoon.
Gerard Dyson in the 2-hole, 185. He's homered twice. He jumps on the first offering from Hellickson. A lazy fly ball for Michael A. Taylor in center. Hard to get more efficient than that. Good start for Hellickson. 2 pitches and 2 outs.
Hellickson's had 2 starts this year and no decision in each one of those. Went 4 2/3, gave up 7 hits and 2 runs against the Mets in his first start this year. Last time out against the Dodgers, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 3 runs in that game. Both no decisions.
It is the Paul Goldschmidt off day today. Torey Lovullo is committed to once a month. So A.J. Pollock bats third. The best player on the field last night, in the words of his manager. Leading the D-backs in home runs and RBIs.
Now Pollock really did it all last night. Almost hit for the cycle, made a great defensive diving play out in left center field.
He was a one-man highlight reel. 3 hits, a home run, and a triple against Steven Strasburg. Scored 3 runs, knocked in 2. And made one of the plays of the ball game on an RBI sac fly in left center, but he was all over that 0-2 pitch from Strasburg.
Oh, he absolutely crushed it. A 96-mile-an-hour heater up and out over the plate. Got a curveball in his next at bat. Ripped that into left field. Another fastball up and out over the plate. Driven to right center for a triple. He had a heck of a night.
Here's the 1-1 from Hellickson. Fastball is low. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now you'll see more sinkers to the right-handed hitters. You'll see more cutters to the left-handed hitters when he throws that fastball.
Hellickson always looking to get ahead with that fastball so he can set you up for his curveball and changeup. His put-away pitches. This one is right at Taylor in center. 3 fly ball outs for Jeremy Hellickson. A 6-pitch inning. Patrick Corbin coming up. right-hander Patrick Corbin, the reigning National League Player of the Week. Unbeaten in 5 starts, a 1.89 ERA. And Corbin has exactly 3 times as many strikeouts this year as he does hits allowed.
I mentioned it in the open of the show. When he was an all-star back in 2013, he looked a lot like this Patrick Corbin. He's fully 100% healthy after the Tommy John surgery, pitching with a lot of poise, a lot of mound presence.
The shortstop Trey Turner, tied for the major league lead in stolen bases, leads it off, and there's his strike at the knees. Turner 274, 1 home run, 10 stolen bases. He and Atlanta's Ender Inciarte are tops in baseball. Trying to bunt his way on. That's fouled back, and it's 0-2. Let's take a look at the Washington lineup. That's presented by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Trey Turner leading it off. He'll be playing shortstop. Ryan Zimmerman moves up to the 2 spot today, playing first base. Bryce Harper will be out in right field with Howie Kendrick at second base. Michael A. Taylor out in center field. Moises Sierra in left. Adrian Sanchez playing third base with Pedro Severino catching for right-hander Jeremy Hellickson.
Swing and a miss on that slider. That is the trademark Corbin pitch, and Turner strikes out.
Now this is wicked. We've heard National League hitters all around baseball talking about that Patrick Corbin slider. Last year, at times, it rolled up to the plate, stayed in the hitting zone. This year, he's burying it to the back foot of those right-handed hitters.
Ryan Zimmerman, 188. He's homered 3 times. Zimmerman singled and struck out last night. He was 1 for 5. This is the second of a 3-game series. The opening of a long homestand for the Nationals. D-backs on the road. They've won 2 of 3 in Philly, and they'll play 3 here over the weekend. This is hit out to Dyson in right field. 2 down. E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense.
We've seen Gerard Dyson in action out there in right field. A.J. Pollock in center. David Peralta over in left. Daniel Descalso getting the start at third base until Jake Lamb comes back. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Ketel Marte at second base. Christian Walker getting the nod at first base today with Alex Avila behind the plate for the lefty Patrick Corbin.
Well, he made his major league debut on this date 6 years ago at the age of 19. Now here he is on the cusp of free agency. Bryce Harper hitting .250. Tied for the National League lead with 8 home runs.
I think like everybody else in the baseball world, I was watching that game that night from Dodger Stadium, and it was a pretty impressive debut. Got a base hit in that ball game. Made a great throw to the plate. Should have gunned the guy down. The ball was dropped by the catcher that night.
Harper, the only left-hand bat in there against Patrick Corbin today. So, Bob, how does Corbin best go after Bryce Harper?
Well, that slider's a pretty good way to start. Yeah, I mean, Bryce Harper and all good hitters in Major League Baseball, you really can't pitch in one consistent pattern. You have to really mix it up.
That one is the other way into left field. A 2-out single for Harper. Who is now 4 for 8 lifetime against Patrick Corbin.
And all the advanced meetings I've been in my life, when you have a hitter on the opposing team and you say you really have to mix it up, that's an indication that the guy's just a really good hitter. If you stay in a pattern, he'll realize that pattern and make you pay for it.
Last year's National League Manager of the Year, Torey Lovullo. His team 4 games ahead of Colorado on top of the National League West. Diamondback killer Howie Kendrick. There's that slow Corbin slider. This was Kendrick last night off Zach Godley in the 3rd.
Zach Godley was just having trouble commanding anything consistently, and Howie Kendrick got a cutter right in the middle of the plate. He has been a D-backs killer no matter what uniform he's wearing.
Angels, Dodgers, you name it. Now the Nationals. This is bounced to 3rd for Daniel Descalso. Walker able to snag that one, apply the tag on the hip, and that ends the inning. We'll head to the 2nd. No score. The D-backs and the Nationals.
Your pose for Paul Goldschmidt. This is a guy that's used to playing every day. You have to fist fight him to get him out of the lineup, but today the Diamondbacks are going to experience life without Gold. Now, Torey Lovullo did tell us if he's needed as a pinch hitter late in the game, if he's needed as a defensive replacement, you might see him today, but Torey would like to give him a complete day off.
It's never easy, that's for sure. Christian Walker at first base today. Daniel Descalso at third leads off the second against Jeremy Hellickson. And there's strike one. Descalso, 197. He's got 3 home runs. Seeing most of the time at third for the D-backs, while all-star Jake Lamb recovers from a left shoulder strain and right elbow tendonitis. Lamb back in Scottsdale, going through full workouts Thursday and Friday. He's hitting, throwing, and taking ground balls, so they're optimistic he'll be back on the next homestand. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic that both Jake Lamb and Steven Souza Jr. might be back during that next homestand.
And Lamb has played in only 4 games all year. He's been out since April 2nd. But you'll get no sympathy from Dave Martinez, who's missing a whole bunch of his best bats. Descalso knocks that by Kendrick and into right. A leadoff single, first hit for the D-backs.
Descalso's done an outstanding job. This Diamondbacks team, they don't really hit for a high team average, but they do hit well with runners in scoring position, and Descalso's one of those guys that seems to come up with a big hit whenever the team needs it.
First start this year for Christian Walker, playing first base on Goldie's first off day of the year. 1 for 8 with an RBI double. He's walked twice. All 10 of Walker's plate appearances this year have come as a pinch hitter. He has got very good power. Jumps on the first pitch and hits a one-hopper right to Kendrick. Turner turns it, and they roll into double play.
Diamondbacks are being very aggressive against Jeremy Hellickson in the early going. We talked about that changeup that is his best out pitch. Diamondbacks look like they want to get on the first fastball they see today, not get into a deep count against Hellickson.
So there's a rare ground ball out for a guy who is mostly a fly ball pitcher. Base is empty, 2 down. Here's the second baseman, the switch hitting Ketel Marte. 222 and a home run, 0 for 4 last night. Snuck the backdoor breaking ball in there, said Nick Lentz, and it's 0-1.
That's one of the most obvious times that Hellickson will use that big slow curveball to try to steal strike one against a left-handed hitter.
Hellickson split last year between the Phillies and the Orioles. Baltimore picked him up at the trade deadline. He went just 2-6 in 10 starts with the Orioles before he hit free agency. And he was on the open market all winter long and into spring. Finally signed a minor league contract with the Nationals near the end of spring training. So he's been working on something of an advanced spring training program. This is just his 3rd start this year. That one caught the corner, it appeared, down and in. Nick Lentz didn't bite. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On the ground to shortstop for Turner. 2 scoreless for Jeremy Hellickson. That was an 8-pitch inning. Back from DC after this. Bats Park. Fans that were over 42,000 hits last season. All you need is one to keep the streak alive. So download Beat the Streak today and you can compete to win $5.6 million. Go to MLB.com/BTS or download Beat the Streak in the App Store today. Center fielder is Michael A. Taylor. He'll lead off the second against the D-backs lefty. Comes on the first pitch. Ketel Marte behind the bag at second. Boy, both of these teams, Bob, coming out swinging today.
Well, yeah, facing a pitcher that has a wipeout strikeout pitch like Patrick Corbin, you can see why the Nationals are very aggressive early in the count. They don't want to get to a 2-strike count and have to deal with that slider. So that first fastball that's close to the zone is getting hacked at.
Here is the left fielder, Moises Sierra. 243 on the year, 4 RBIs. Sierra was up twice and struck out twice last night. In fact, he's punched out in 8 of his last 16 at bats. A right-hand heavy lineup for Dave Martinez this afternoon. And with the way that Patrick Corbin has pitched this year, it's hard to blame him. Corbin won his first career opening day start. He beat the Rockies. In his next start, he allowed only 1 hit in 7 1/3 scoreless to beat the Dodgers with a dozen strikeouts. He nearly no-hit the Giants in Phoenix, settled for his first ever shutout. A 1-hitter. And in his previous start Sunday, Corbin gave up just 2 hits and struck out 11 Padres. He has been on a roll.
And it doesn't seem to matter which side of the plate the hitter stands on. Righties this season are only hitting 148 against Corbin. Lefties hitting 115.
Tried to tie him up with that slider. No, it didn't go, says Bill Welke down there, and it's even 2-2.
Better look at it right here. Might have checked. Strong arms right there. Strong wrists.
Called strike 3. Nick Lentz rings him up. Second strikeout for Corbin. 2 down.
We talk a lot about that Patrick Corbin slider, but it's really all set up by his fastball command. This is what he's done all season. Just pound that mid-90s fastball around the edges of the zone. Set up that nasty wipeout slider.
Highest strikeout percentage among major league starting pitchers this year. Patrick Corbin is #1. He is 3rd in the majors in total strikeouts, behind only Scherzer and Garrett Cole. Adrian Sanchez, the 3rd baseman today. Fastball right down Main Street, 0-1. Sanchez has played just 2 games this year, 2 for 8 with an RBI. Nationals are without, as we mentioned, several key pieces, including Anthony Rendon, their 3rd baseman. He fouled the ball off his left big toe. He's not played since April 13th. And he's improving, but Dave Martinez told us this morning he's likely at least a few days away still.
Yeah, tomorrow would be the first day he's eligible to come off the disabled list, and Dave Martinez wasn't quite ready to commit to that. But it will be soon. But not soon enough for Dave Martinez.
We'll talk to him about that coming up shortly. They are missing a lot of important guys. They ran into Adam Eaton after last night's game. Spanky's got that left ankle still protected by a walking boot. It's a bone bruise. Daniel Murphy hasn't played all year, coming off microfracture knee surgery last October. Swing and a miss. There's the slider. 3rd strikeout for Corbin. He hit the 3rd. No score in Washington. Fans, the Major League Baseball Junior Home Run Derby allows kids 14 and under to compete in the National Home Run Derby Championship during 2018's All-Star Week right here in D.C. You can sign up for a free competition in your local community at jrhrd.com. Alex Avila, the D-backs catcher, leads off the third against Jeremy Hellickson. Nationals have the shift on, 3 infielders on the right-hand side.
Cutter in. Alex Avila just starting to get it going with the bat as our nationwide vision eye on the game shows you the Nationals defense. Exaggerated pull shift with Trey Turner on the second base side of the bag out there.
Jeremy Hellickson coming off a 6-pitch first inning and an 8-pitch second. Avila 163. He's homered twice. The bat is starting to wake up after a slow start to the year. This one is rolled to first. Zimmerman takes it himself, one away.
Alex Avila, part of a three-headed monster behind the plate for the Diamondbacks, along with Jeff Mathis and John Ryan Murphy. The Diamondbacks carrying 3 catchers this year, just like they did most of the season last year.
Torey Lovullo really likes that luxury, as he calls it. This club 18-7, the best record in the National League, and their best ever start. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, 197, but second on the D-backs in RBIs and tied for second in home runs. Low breaking ball, and he steals strike one. Ahmed had an RBI single last night. He was 1 for 4. He's homered in 2 of his last 4 games. Driven out to center field. Taylor backing up at the track, and he's got it just shy of the wall.
Hey fans, the D-backs home run tonight means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack-in-the-Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Ahmed gave it a ride.
Yeah, that was a real nice play by Michael A. Taylor. Got turned around initially, but that speed is a wonderful thing, able to catch up and make the play just before the warning track out there in center field.
Taylor once again manning center field while Adam Eaton is out with that bone bruise. The pitcher, Patrick Corbin. Jeremy Hellickson's Nationals debut came April 16th at Citi Field in New York, and he lasted just 4 2/3. His previous start was Sunday at Dodger Stadium. He was a little more effective. 3 runs, 3 hits, and 5 1/3.
Now, Jeremy Hellickson has always been very deliberate, getting the sign, going through his windup, but Dave Martinez has tried to encourage him to speed up the process between pitches a little bit more, and it looks like he's working with a much quicker pace than we're used to.
Yeah, he's always been, Helly, among the slowest workers out there, and Dave had him in Tampa Bay when he was Joe Maddon's bench coach there, so he's well familiar with Jeremy Hellickson's routine. Hellickson, the 2011 American League Rookie of the Year in Tampa Bay, pitched 5 seasons with the Rays. He was a D-back for a year. There's a look at the defense.
Yeah, they certainly don't expect Patrick Corbin to pull anything against Jeremy Hellickson. A lot of room down the right field line. Everybody kind of bunched over in left center field.
2-2 on the D-backs pitcher. Hellickson gets his first strikeout. He's worked 3 scoreless for at Nats Park in D.C. For the third inning, no score against the D-backs. Tonight, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton lead the Yankees against Mike Trout. Shohei Ohtani of the Angels. Coverage starts 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on FS1. Or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. The catcher, Pedro Severino, leads off the Washington third. Patrick Corbin so far, 2 scoreless with 3 strikeouts. Severino, 239. He's knocked in 6. A well-regarded defensive catcher, splitting time this year with the veteran Matt Wieters. There's a fastball down and away. Patrick Corbin has been much more consistent this year with that arm side fastball, throwing it down and away and hitting that spot against right-hand batters. He's always been good at coming into right-handers, like right there. There's the slider, and he got him on the foot.
That is literally a back foot slider right there. With that right foot planted in the batter's box, that slider comes down and in and just catches him on the right foot.
So a base runner for the pitcher Hellickson, who's a very good athlete down there. He was a terrific high school basketball player in Des Moines, Iowa, and a former Gold Glove winner. 0 for 4 at the plate this year.
I would expect a sac bunt right here with Severino running at first. Don't be surprised if the Diamondbacks try to get the lead man.
Scalzo crashes from third, Walker from first.
Now this is where the absence of Paul Goldschmidt can really be felt. I mean, Goldie is undoubtedly the leader of this team, offensively, defensively, in the clubhouse, however you want to slice it and dice it. Not that Christian Walker can't handle it, but I think Goldie is the guy that everybody in that Diamondbacks infield looks to in situations like this.
Hellickson pulls back and takes a strike at 0-2. Yeah, Christian Walker's reports list him as a very good defensive first baseman in the minor leagues, but there is no one better down there than Paul Goldschmidt. Whether it's guarding against a bunt play, turning a 3-6-3 double play, when you watch him every day, you quickly realize he is the best. Trying to bunt with 2 strikes, and he strikes out. Four strikeouts for Corbin the first time through. The leadoff man Trey Turner struck out to start the ball game for Washington. Turner last night singled twice, scored a run. He was coming off a 5-hit game at San Francisco on Wednesday. Trey Turner only 2 weeks ago was hitting .203 for the year. But he's really picked up the pace over his last 10 games. He's hitting better than .360.
With his speed, he ought to be able to bunt .280.
I think you're right. He can fly, one of the fastest players in baseball.
I don't know how Alex Avila feels about it, but back in my playing days, if a team had a speedy leadoff hitter like Trey Turner, it never really bothered me too much that the number 8 hitter got on base. You retire the pitcher. You got a base log jam out there. You got a catcher running in front of Trey Turner.
Just foul. That's in front of Bobby Henley coaching at third.
I think he may have broken his bat on that one. Trey Turner headed back to that first base on deck circle. Speed like Trey Turner changes everything, changes the game, changes the pitches that a catcher will call, changes the way the defense plays. Have to respect that speed.
A former first-round pick out of North Carolina State by the Padres back in 2013. Nationals got him the following summer, part of a complex deal with San Diego and Tampa Bay. That was the same trade that sent Will Myers to the Padres. Steven Souza Jr. is now a Diamondback, was also in that deal. He came up with the Washington Nationals. Nationals, a disappointing first month. They are 4 under 500. And they've spotted the Mets 6 games in the early National League East race. Washington opened the season 4-0, but they've gone just 7-15 since. Severino advances to second, and they got him there. Ketel Marte somehow got the tag on. Avila got a friendly bounce back there, and they're able to cut down Severino.
Very favorable bounce off the bricks back there behind home plate. Came right back to Alex Avila. What a tag down on the back of Severino before he got his foot on that bag.
2-4 on the putout. Bases empty, 2 down, and a 2-2 count on Trey Turner.
Well, that's just opponent awareness right there. Know who's running at first base. That internal stopwatch starts running, and that time Alex Avila realized he had enough time to throw on to second. They just did get him.
Corbin at 30 pitches, 22 for strikes. Fastball up and away. Turner lays off, and it's full. Ryan Zimmerman, the on-deck hitter. Starting to cloud up overhead. The lights are on here. 4:45 local time in the afternoon. Try the backdoor breaking ball, and Turner works a 2-out walk.
Now we will see how speed changes the ball game with Trey Turner on at first and 2 outs in the inning. Would expect some pickoff throws to first base right here. Maybe a couple step offs. Anything to disrupt the base stealer's rhythm.
You've certainly got a veteran hitter at the plate in Zimmerman, who flied out to right his first time up. Trey Turner, a perfect 10 for 10 in his stolen base attempts this year. Tied with Ender Inciarte for the major league lead. Slow breaking ball away, and it's 1-0. Michael A. Taylor right behind his teammate. Taylor's a perfect 9 for 9 this year.
Well, the big difference between Taylor and Turner, we're told that Trey Turner usually waits until later in the at bat before attempting to steal second base, whereas Michael A. Taylor tries to run on the first or second pitch.
Holding all the way. This is headed for the seats at out of play. Zimmerman, after a slow start, hitting better than .320 in his last 8 games. That includes a 2-homer game against the Mets at Citi Field on the Nationals' last road trip.
Should be a pick to first base right here. Patrick Corbin doesn't have a great move to first base, but he does unload the ball fairly quickly to home plate. Gives his catcher a chance.
And for Patrick, he's had so many strikeouts this year, he hasn't had a lot of traffic around him on the bases.
Different look there. The step off pickoff move to first base. Like I said, anything to disrupt the rhythm of a potential base stealer like Trey Turner. Quick pitch, hold the ball, throw to first.
Tim Bogar coaching down there at first. Turner takes off, and they got him hung up. The throw from Walker is almost into left center field. And Turner has steal number 11 on the year. It was going on first move.
They still had a shot at him at second base. Marte must have taken his eye off that ball. Christian Walker gave him a pretty good throw to deal with right here. He just kind of fans on it. Fortunately for the Diamondbacks, Nick Ahmed right there to back the play up.
The Diamondbacks have been one of the best defensive teams in all of baseball this year. But they allow Turner to sneak into scoring position with 2 outs and a 1-1 count on Ryan Zimmerman. Hit in the air, deep center field. A.J. Pollock at the track, at the wall, and it is gone. Ryan Zimmerman, that's number 4, and it's 2-0 National. Fourth home run given up this year by Patrick Corbin. And that doubly hurts when you consider they had Trey Turner take the rights on the bases.
Well, I'll tell you, Parker, for me, that's what makes Ryan Zimmerman such a dangerous hitter. He's got power to all parts of the ballpark. That was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone. He didn't try to pull it, just get the barrel on the ball, and he rides it out of here to right center field to give the Nats a lead. I think I've seen Ryan Zimmerman hit more home runs to right center and right field than left.
Now you deal with Bryce Harper, who singled his first time up today. Harper leading the major leagues in walks, and by a wide margin, including 2 more bases on balls last night. Big cut of a slider. 0-2.
Yeah, Harper got a steady diet of breaking balls from Zach Godley, a right-hander, in last night's ball game. You figured he was going to get a bunch of breaking balls from the lefty today.
Godley had an enormous strikeout of Bryce Harper with the bases loaded in the 4th inning to get out of a huge jam. He retired Harper, then Zimmerman, and left him loaded. A fastball up and away. Nick Lentz says strike 3. Harper doesn't agree. But the Nationals take a 2-0 lead. Ryan Zimmerman's 4th home run of the year has given the Nationals a 2-0 lead. Don't forget, tomorrow NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series heads to Talladega for the Geico 500. Kyle Busch looks for his 4th straight win. You can catch all the action starting at 1:30 Eastern on Fox or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. David Peralta leads off the Arizona 4th against Jeremy Hellickson. Peralta flying out to lead off the ballgame. Hellickson suddenly with a 2-0 lead. He's retired the last 5 he's faced. Sends this one out to Sierra in left field, backing up. He's at the wall, and it is gone. David Peralta and the D-backs answer back right away. That's his fourth, and it's 2-1. That looks exactly like a home run that David hit against the Phillies earlier this week on this road trip.
Yeah, barreled the ball up to the opposite field. Is a big slow curve that stays out there on the outside corner, but up. Peralta gets it high in the air to left field. Just did sneak it out of here over the head of Moises Sierra.
Nice catch in the front row. A jumbo jack, a free jumbo jack tomorrow. A Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. Gerard Dyson looks at strike one. That's the first home run, pardon me, given up by Hellickson this year. Dyson trying to bunt his way on, hits it right to Zimmerman. And that's the first out in the top of the fourth.
Trying to put that ball over there in the Bermuda Triangle between the pitcher, the first baseman, and the second baseman, and create some confusion. Unfortunately for Dyson, he barrels that one up right down the first base line to Ryan Zimmerman.
Peralta's homer has the D-backs on the board. One out. Here's A.J. Pollock, who flied out to center his first time up. Pollock 3 hits here last night, including a home run and a triple off the wall in right center. And it's not often you find a player the caliber of A.J. Pollock, who's been a Gold Glove winner in center field before, who also leads his team in home runs, RBIs, OPS, and stolen bases. But that's who A.J. Pollock has been for the Diamondbacks when he's been healthy. One of the best players in the National League. But coming off back-to-back injury-riddled seasons.
A lot of people in the National League refer to A.J. Pollock as Mike Trout light.
He's got the same kind of overall game, that's for sure. And he was actually drafted, A.J. Pollock, out of Notre Dame, ahead of Mike Trout in that same draft, 2009. A.J. went 17th overall.
I mentioned earlier that Paul Goldschmidt is undoubtedly the leader of this Diamondbacks team, but there's something about A.J. Pollock. He's got a little edge to his game.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's something the Diamondbacks desperately needed. When A.J. was on the shelf with all the injuries he's had to battle the last couple of years, they really missed that edge.
Well, Paul Goldschmidt is such a quiet, humble guy. It's not his personality to yell. He's not a holler guy. He's very much the stereotypical quiet leader type. There he is with Zach Greinke. But when you need somebody to holler, you go to A.J. Pollock and David Peralta. Oldie's day off today. There's a slow roller to third. Sanchez makes a bare hand play. Zimmerman gets the scoop at first. Adrian Sanchez at third base today.
Pretty nice defensive play right there. He knows he's got to hurry because of Pollock's speed. Clean barehanded play, strong throw over to Zimmerman just in time to get Pollock at first base.
2 down for Descalso, who singled to right in his first at bat. Nationals put 3 defenders on the right side of the infield, which is a little odd because, you know, Descalso, especially last night, showed a real knack for staying on pitches on the outer half of the strike zone and shooting them to left center field. Did that twice last night, both times to knock in runs. But they're pitching him inside, which would make sense with the defensive alignment. And he hits it over there anyway and dunks it in front of Harper. Descalso 2 for 2.
Fired up a flare right there, got it over the infield shift and just in front of Bryce Harper out there in right field. Takes a full swing, gets jammed a little bit, but finds grass out there in right.
A chance for Christian Walker in there at first base. Walker swung at the first pitch against Jeremy Hellickson in the second inning and hit into a double play. Breaking ball off the plate, but Nick Glenn says strike one. Christian Walker, a very good minor league resume with AAA Reno last year, where he was the Pacific Coast League's MVP. He hit 32 home runs with 114 RBIs. Walker came up with the D-backs last September, Bob, and hit a couple of pinch hit home runs.
Yeah, usually numbers like that in an MVP award in the Pacific Coast League will get you a starting job at the major league level, but when you're playing behind Paul Goldschmidt, you're going to have to wait your turn.
But he's got his opportunity here today. Talking with Torey Lovullo before the ball game today. He'd been hunting for the Goldie off day here. And the D-backs won the series opener last night. Goldschmidt has excellent career numbers against tomorrow's Washington starter, Gio Gonzalez. D-backs go home after tomorrow's game to face a whole bunch of LA Dodger lefties. So today was just absolutely the no-brainer day to give him the off day. It just made too much sense not to.
I think had the Diamondbacks dropped that ball game last night, it might have been a different story, but you get that first game of the series in your back pocket. You've got a little time to play with the lineup the next 2 days. And as you said, Goldie 9 for 14 against Gio Gonzalez with a homer, a double, a triple. He's not going to sit out tomorrow.
Well, Torey was saying it's just so hard to take Goldie out because he's such a huge part of the team physically, emotionally, and fundamentally. And you become very uneasy taking a player like that out of the lineup on purpose. But today's the day. 2-2 on Christian Walker. Hellickson came in, and it's full 3-2.
Hellickson using a lot more off-speed pitches as we get into the middle part of this ball game. A lot of change-ups and slow curves.
He can work you to death with soft stuff, especially when he gets in 2 strike counts. Change-ups, curveballs down.
I think this is a curveball right here.
3-2. Descalso takes off, and that is foul just in front of Tony Perez-Chica coaching it there. Hellickson once a Diamondback, 9-12 in 27 starts as a D-back 3 years ago. And since then trades to Philadelphia and Baltimore before he signed a minor league deal with Washington just over a month ago. He had to stay down in West Palm Beach and play catch-up in extended spring training. Didn't sign until March 17th. Just his 3rd start this year today. Descalso off and running again, and Walker again fouls it off. Hellickson said he was down there just throwing live bullpens, simulated games in Florida against extended spring training kids, trying to make up for lost time. That was really his spring training. And he was doing that for a few weeks. The Nationals thought he was ready to go and fill a 5th starter's role where A.J. Cole is struggling. One more time on 3-2. Descalso on the move, and Walker hits it foul down the right field line.
I've talked to a lot of veteran pitchers over the years, and those assignments to the minor leagues, whether it be extended spring or A ball, AA, AAA, whatever it happens to be, veteran pitchers don't usually fare very well. It's tough to set up an 18-year-old kid that's just dying to hit the ball.
Well, Hellickson had a 6-pitch first inning, an 8-pitch second inning. This is the 9th pitch of this at bat against Christian Walker. Descalso takes off. Fastball misses in. A tremendous AB there by Walker. And there's a pair of 2-out base runners aboard for Ketel Marte. Tell you what, you finally get in there. You're waiting all year. Goldie gets that 1 day off. It's a lot of patience not to try and hack at something up there.
It's a mark of a good hitter. You know, take aggressive swings at pitches you think you can handle. If it's not in the zone, take it. Nice job.
A chance for Marte. 2-1 and 2 out. A run is home. Caught the outer half with a strike. 0-1. Marte grounded out to end the second. On the ground to second, backhanded by Kendrick. And they retire Marte and Strand too, but the Diamondbacks get on the board. David Peralta leads off the fourth with his fourth of the year. Home half coming up. Nationals 2, Diamondbacks 1.
Peralta's solo home run has the Arizona Diamondbacks on the board. They trail Washington 2-1 as we bring you back. Patrick Corbin out on the mound. And Steve and Bob, I wanted to take a moment to visit that story that ran less than a week ago in the USA Today. The headline, of course, projecting that Patrick Corbin, and there's the first pitch to him for him from this inning, already as a member of the New York Yankees. Obviously, that means that next season with his free agency certainly on the horizon. But I just like the way Patrick dealt with it, like he has been doing since the Tommy John. Straightforward, and living in the moment, saying, look, I'm an Arizona Diamondback, and there's a ball caught, foul, 1 out. I'm a Diamondback. I'm focused on this team, this season, the next start, and the next pitch. But a bit of a fallout back in the Valley, and you can understand that. National headlines for the ace of their staff right now, and already looking ahead potentially to the New York Yankees.
Yeah, he is a free agent at the end of this year, Todd, certainly. But Patrick grew up in upstate New York, a Yankee fan. Andy Pettit was his favorite. He's wearing number 46, Pettit's old number. But he and his fiancee Jen are building a home in the Valley, and they're very happy in Arizona. So we'll see what happens. Michael A. Taylor now. This is strike one.
I think we're just all happy that Patrick Corbin is healthy again and go out there and do what he's done so far this season. It's just such a bright future ahead of him back in 2013 before the injury set him back.
Boy, he was an all-star that 2013 season, 11-1 at the all-star break. The Tommy John surgery the following spring. He missed all of 2014. And it's been a bit of a long road back ever since. But he has got it going this year. Last year's National League Player of the Week. 4-0 in 5 starts, but he trailed this one 2-0. I mean, there are times when you watch Patrick pitch from the left side with that 46 on that you can sort of see Andy Pettitte a little bit.
Patrick doesn't have Andy Pettitte's pickoff move.
He's got that look. Pettitte used to do that right there.
Peeking over the glove. Hey, I think if you ask any player, you know, who'd you grow up rooting for?
Sure.
You know, I was a Cleveland Indians fan growing up, but never really wanted to play for the Indians.
Few did back in those days.
I was happy where I was. Yeah.
Patrick Corbin, that's 6 strikeouts, 2 down in the 4th.
Now, one thing Patrick Corbin and all these pitchers on the Diamondback staff know, that if they keep it close, avoid the big crooked numbers on the scoreboard, keep it close. This Diamondbacks team has a way of finding ways to get back into a game.
Last night's game was back and forth all night long. D-backs won at 5-4. Moises Sierra, the left fielder, struck out looking his first time up. Right back to the mound, and Corbin snags it. He works a quick 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. Nationals lead the Diamondbacks 2-1.
Two to one, the top of the 5th here in our nation's capital. Time to take a look back at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. My partner mentioned it earlier. On this day in 2012, Bryce Harper made his much anticipated debut against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Got his first career hit, a double in the 7th inning against Chad Billingsley. And I still don't think we've seen the best of Bryce Harper. I mean, he's been really, really good. But he was only 19 when he broke in.
He's 25 now. He'll be 26 in October. And set to hit the open market in free agency this winter. Alex Avila leads off the 5th inning against Jeremy Hellickson. It's going to be interesting with Bryce Harper this winter, that's for sure. Nationwide Vision Centers, eye on the game. The shortstop Trey Turner on the first base side of second. Howie Kendrick backed up in the outfield grounds. And Avila hits it into right center field. Harper over to cut it off in front of the warning track. It's a long single for the D-backs catcher to start the 5th.
You mentioned Alex Avila starting to heat it up a little bit on that last stop on this road trip in Philadelphia. With a tape measure bomb to right center field, and he just continues to swing a hot bat, barrels that one up to the gap. Nice play by Bryce Harper to hold him to a single.
Yeah, Alex to open up this trip. Single twice, homered Tuesday against the Phillies in Citizens Bank Park. The number 8 hitter, the shortstop, Nick Ahmed. Where do you think, for people, Bob, that haven't seen a lot of Nick Ahmed, he ranks in terms of defensive shortstops?
Boy, I'll tell you what, he's as good as they come. I hate to say he's better than everybody else because there's a lot of really good shortstops out there, but Nick is right up there at the top of the list defensively. He makes every play.
Backs up Sanchez at third. Kendrick for 1, and they turn the double play. Second double play behind Jeremy Hellickson this afternoon. And quickly 2 down for the pitcher, Corbin.
A little unusual because, as you mentioned earlier, Hellickson is usually a fly ball pitcher, but this ball banged into the ground. Nice play down there by Adrian Sanchez to handle that hot shot. And they turned it into a double play. I mean, you're talking about defensive shortstops, and usually there's one play that maybe challenges them a little bit more than another, whether it's going to their backhand and making that long throw from the hole, charging slowly hit balls, turning double plays. There's usually one area of every shortstop's game that they could improve. I haven't seen a weakness in Nick's game defensively yet.
He seems to get to everything with a tremendously quick release. Corbin sends one out to Harper in right field. Bottom 5 on the way. The Nationals beat the Diamondbacks 2-1. Nats lead the D-backs 2-1. Now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Yankees and Angels last night. Shohei Ohtani, there it goes. Boy, he is something else. His 4th home run of the year.
I haven't seen anything like Ohtani since Fernando Mania back in the day.
They love him in Anaheim. Don't forget, you can see Ohtani and the Angels take on the Yankees tonight on FS1, live on Fox Sports Go, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific. Adrian Sanchez, the 3rd baseman, leads off the Washington 5th against Patrick Corbin. Nationals with only 2 hits so far against Corbin, but one was Ryan Zimmerman's 2-run home run in the 3rd. Arizona countered with a solo shot by David Peralta in the fourth, and that's all the scoring so far.
It's about 10 degrees warmer here this afternoon than it was for last night's ball game, and I've been told that when the weather heats up a little bit here in DC, the ball tends to carry. Of course, you have to make contact first.
Fundamentals.
Both these pitchers doing their best to avoid solid contact.
Not a lot of wind here today. There is a pretty fair amount of cloud cover, though. The lights have been on for most of the ball game. Corbin has walked one. He's got 6 strikeouts. That's drifting out of play, and it's 1-2. Patrick Corbin really successful because of 2 primary things. One is improved fastball command, that hard sinker, 92-94. He'll spot it to both sides of the plate. That's where it really starts for Patrick. And this one is dunked into right center. Pollock over to cut it off. Sanchez digs for second, and he's in with a double, his first of the year.
I don't know much about cricket, but this looks a lot like a swing you would see. What do they call a cricket field?
That was a wicked googly. A pitch, I mean.
A pitch, okay. Well, there you go. That was a wicked googly.
Now, you and I once did a game from the Sydney Cricket Grounds when the D-backs and Dodgers played in Australia 4 years ago.
Well, you swing the bat, good things tend to happen. Not a textbook swing. You won't see that on a highlight film, but effective nonetheless. Double into the gap in right center.
He's at second to lead off the fifth, the catcher Pedro Severino. There's that other thing that's been a game changer for Patrick Corbin, in addition to the better fastball command, that slow breaking ball. Patrick recently has junked his changeup. He never really threw it all that well anyway. And he's replaced it with that slower breaking ball as an off-speed pitch to go along with what's always been his biggest weapon, the hard slider. And it's a soft slider. It uses the same slider grip, but it acts like a curveball. And he'll use it often early in counts like he just did there to kind of steal strike one, backdoor to right-handers. And then the hard slider down is really the finishing pitch. And that's really what has added up to Corbin's tremendous start this year, 4-0 with a 1.89 ERA.
All part of a pitcher's evolution. Even veteran pitchers are constantly toying with their grips, talking to other pitchers about how do you hold your slider, how do you make that sinker dive so much. Patrick Corbin realized that the straight changeup just has not been a good pitch for him, so he found something to substitute.
That's a fair ball down the third baseline for Descalso. Sanchez breaks for third, and he's in there. Aggressive heads-up base running by Adrian Sanchez there on Descalso's throw to first.
Oh, hit right down the third baseline. Descalso with the check of the runner at second base, but Sanchez was just kind of baiting him. Kind of held his ground over there after a secondary lead. As soon as he saw that ball in the air to first base, he breaks for third. Good aggressive base running right there.
Now the infield will come in for Arizona with a pitcher Hellickson at the plate. Sanchez at third and 1 out.
I expect to see a lot of breaking balls here this at bat.
Why so?
Well, you know, with a pitcher at the plate, nobody on base, you go right after him. You pound a fastball in there, trying to jump ahead in the count, and then put him away as quickly as you can. But with the runner in scoring position, only 1 out in the inning, you don't even really want him to make contact right here. You got your infield drawn in, and Patrick swinging a missed pitch is that slider.
Boy, Sanchez was at least a third of the way down the line there. Avila thought about a throw to third.
Yeah, unfortunately for the D-backs, Daniel Descalso was also a third of the way down the line. He was going with the runner down that third baseline, and when Avila looked down there, both guys were backpedaling toward third base as fast as they could get there. Yeah, no clear throwing lane that time. Probably a good idea. Avila just hung on to that one. What an equipment malfunction.
Or wardrobe malfunction. Keep in mind that Hellickson came up with a runner at first base in the 3rd inning and struck out trying to get a bunt down. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fastball up and away. 2-1. Nationals will take whatever offense they can get, missing Daniel Murphy, Adam Eaton, Anthony Rendon. They've lost 5 of their last 6. They're only 3-8 at home this year. Walker coming in from first. Corbin crowds Hellickson with a fastball in on the hands, and it's 2-2. Now, if he wants, he's got him set up for one of those either hard or soft sliders. Patrick has thrown that breaking ball softer and softer as the season has gone along. He's actually started calling it a curveball, which is a new change.
He's going fastball away here.
Taps it to first. Walker's got it. Sanchez stays put. Marte covers. And Hellickson can't get the run home. 2 outs. So it's up to Trey Turner, who has struck out, walked, stolen a base, and scored a run. There was a while when Trey Turner first got here, you looked up and he had 3 hits every night.
I remember that. That's when I first started playing Beat the Streak, and I played Trey Turner every night for 2 months.
You were on him like a bad habit.
Yeah, he was red hot.
Just kept going to that well, and every time, yeah, 2 hits, 3 hits. Slow roller to second base. Marte is there, and Sanchez dies at third. We'll head to the 6th inning. Nationals lead the D-backs 2-1. The 2-1. The only run provided by David Peralta. Leading off the 4th, our Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing, cool play of the game.
Yeah, really timed up that slow breaking ball out away from him. Very similar to his home run in Philadelphia, right down the left field line.
His 4th of the season, his 2nd on this road trip, and Peralta leads off the 6th. .307 with the 4 home runs. Kind of a very unique fit for this leadoff role. He has thrived all year. Been very consistent leading off for Torey Lovullo.
Well, that has really set the lineup until you get Jake Lamb and Steven Souza Jr. back. I mean, A.J. Pollock is a guy that normally or has hit leadoff in the past, but the fact that David Peralta is able to fill this role allows Torey Lovullo to move Pollock down into more of a run-producing spot.
And A.J. has delivered big time, as has Peralta. Torey Lovullo says that David is probably as energized and as focused in anything he's doing during the course of the day as he's ever seen a player have. I mean, this is a guy who he says cares on a pretty impressive level. And everybody by now should have heard the story of David Peralta. As a teenager coming out of Venezuela, was a pitcher. 2 seasons of rookie ball in the Cardinal system. They let him go after 2 shoulder operations. He went home to Venezuela and was off the grid for 4 years before he reemerged as a power hitter, and he gets into one here. David Peralta, upper deck, his 5th of the year, his 2nd today, and we are tied at 2. It was only a few seasons ago he was a Wichita wingnut. He was playing independent ball in Amarillo. The D-backs found him, and boy, they are glad they did.
New life as a position player, swinging that bat, and no doubter into the 2nd deck in right field above the Nationals bullpen out there in right field. Well, I've said this many times, and Diamondbacks fans have heard me say it, and the fact is David loves being the leadoff hitter. I mean, this is a guy with his skills. He can hit him pretty much anywhere in the lineup, but he wants to be the first guy to step into that batter's box every day.
He's out there on the field in the on-deck circle, batting helmet on, bat in hand, before the national anthem, like he's ready to go. Gerard Dyson. Dyson sends one out to right center field. Taylor's got it next to Harper, one away.
It's the first multi-homer game of David Peralta's career. I'm pretty sure it won't be the last.
Sometimes he's surprised.
He's having an all-star caliber season for a team with the best record in the National League. And here comes Dave Martinez. A.J. Pollock is coming up. Dave Martinez will take the baseball here with 1 out in the 6th. We're tied at 2 in D.C. Homers That's been all the scoring for the D-backs. Nationwide Vision Centers. Our eye on the game gives us a look at number 2.
429 feet. The estimated distance of that bomb came off the bat just under 112 miles per hour.
So Jeremy Hellickson's day ends after only 57 pitches. Hellickson goes 5 1/3. On in relief, the right-hander Trevor Gott, who was on the Nationals opening day roster. He was sent down to AAA Syracuse earlier this month, and now he's back up.
Sinking fastball and a curveball basically from Trevor Gott. He has a changeup. He rarely uses it.
0-1 on A.J. Pollock, the number 3 hitter today. Paul Goldschmidt getting a scheduled day off. Pollock so far 0 for 2. Trey Turner at shortstop. That'll bring up Daniel Descalso, who's been up twice and singled twice. Nationals bullpen has been in pretty good shape with Sean Doolittle at the back end. It's getting to the back end that has been the problem.
With that sinker right in the middle of the plate that time. He gets a lot of movement. That always amazed me, how somebody that throws into mid to upper 90s can get the ball to move that much in the short distance from the mound to home plate.
That one moved a little too much inside. Sammy Solis, the left-hander. We saw Solis work an inning in the ball game last night. Getting dark here. The lights have been on for most of the ball game. A lot of cloud cover off to our left. Out toward the Capitol Dome and all the construction you see behind the ballpark. There are 5-6 cranes out there as the condos and office buildings around the ballpark are going up as fast as they can build them here. It's a project that's been going on here in this neighborhood for just about the last 10 years or so. Just one going up after another out there.
Well, that's a good thing. Unfortunately, if they build some of those buildings much higher, we won't be able to see the Capitol from here.
Even from where we are. Gott reaches up and he's got it. David Peralta, numbers 4 and 5, a pair of solo homers. The second one upper deck in right field at Nats Park. And as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, the D-backs and Nationals are tied at 2.
Todd Walsh back here in Washington as Ryan Zimmerman comes to the plate. Had an interesting conversation earlier today, guys. I wanted to share with you with former Diamondbacks manager Chip Hale. First year as a bench coach here in Washington. Still has a home in the state of Arizona. And there's a long shot.
That one almost got Corbin. Marte cleans it up and they retire Zimmerman. Go ahead, Todd.
Nice play. Well done by you, Steve. But I did talk to Chip Hale. He still has a home in Arizona, in Tucson, in fact. And it was a tough offseason as he lost his first baseball mentor. The legendary head coach of the Arizona Wildcats, Jerry Kindle, passed away on Christmas Eve, very unexpectedly. And as Chip and I were talking, he said, look, I arrived on campus in Tucson in the early 1980s, just going there for an education because of the path that Jerry Kindle helped forge for him. He has spent a lifetime in professional baseball, Major League Baseball, and he just wanted to convey his thoughts about Jerry Kindle, and I wanted to do so as well. And Steve, will get it out to you as there has been a visit to the mound by the trainer.
Ken Crenshaw is out there to take a look at Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, I think Patrick just kind of threw both hands up in self-defense. That might have caught his pitching hand there.
Oh, goodness.
Just off the fingers. Man, happened so quickly. I thought initially it hit his glove and went to Ketel Marte for the out, but it looked like it caught him on the bare hand.
Well, Alex Avila will go back there, and Patrick will throw a couple here and see how he feels. Todd, in talking about Chip, who spent 2 years as the D-back skipper, replaced by Torey Lovullo here. He used to mention Jerry almost every day.
Yep.
What a tremendous influence he was on Chip.
And you know what, guys, there's a phrase that Jerry Kindle used to use around his players, and anyone that ever was in his universe will know this one, and Chip was repeating it again today, that it's okay to be disappointed, but never be discouraged. Chip said how many times he had to apply that in his tenure as a manager in Arizona, where there were so many struggles. And I know his loss was felt everywhere in the baseball universe.
Well, there's no question that Chip helped put together what is right now the best team in the National League at 18-7. Corbin thankfully appears to be okay. 1 out, and now he'll face Bryce Harper. Little roller to first. Christian Walker. Corbin covers. 2 outs. Harper 1 for 3. Everybody has a guy when they were coming up as a young player, and then a young manager that they kind of leaned on, looked up to, learned from. Who was your guy?
Oh, I had a lot of guys. I mean, some people you learn good things from, and other people you learn things that you don't want to do if you ever get the opportunity. But Roger Craig was a huge influence in my career, and that was very late in my career. I thought I knew a lot about baseball. I thought I was a pretty smart guy, and Roger taught me how dumb I was.
Howie Kendrick 0 for 2. What's the best thing you ever learned from him?
Oh, I can't even put my finger on one. There were so many of them, but more than anything else, if you talk to anybody about Roger Craig, it was his attitude. He was always positive. His hum baby, that was his trademark phrase. It could apply to a pretty girl or a car or a defensive play or a home run. That's a hum baby. And it really became a catchphrase around San Francisco when Roger came there to manage the team under Al Rosen, the general manager, and really turned the fortunes of that organization around. I mean, playing in Candlestick Park 81 times a year wasn't really a trip to the beach.
There was a beach near there.
Yeah,
it just
but
wasn't.
Yeah,
it was a pile of rocks, basically.
But over the years, before Roger and Al Rosen got to San Francisco, I think a lot of players used it as an excuse. They whined about their home ballpark. And Roger and Al came in there and said, we're not going to use it as an excuse anymore. We're going to use it to our advantage. Teams that come to San Francisco, back then it was always the West Coast swing. You'd hit San Francisco, LA, San Diego. Well, if an opposing manager is going to rest his star players, it's not going to be in San Diego or LA. It's going to be in San Francisco where the bad weather is. So there were a lot of games we played against an undermanned opponent, and Al and Roger taught us to take advantage of that.
2-2 on Kendrick. Well, the undermanned opponent right now is the home club, the Washington Nationals, as we've mentioned, playing without so many key players. Murphy, Eaton, Rendon, all hurt right now. But they are battling the best team in the league. Davey Martinez, the rookie skipper, his club lost last night 5-4. This one tied 2-2 in the 6th. And Kendrick gets one up in the air, left field. Peralta backing up. He's at the wall, and it's gone. Howie Kendrick, a Diamondback killer, a 2-run home run last night, and a solo shot today makes it 3-2 Washington. He just destroys Diamondback pitching. He's already a career .338 hitter versus Arizona. He's always a problem.
And hitting over 300 this year for the Nationals. He's just a good hitter. You make mistakes, he's going to make you pay. You really have to be on top of your game and execute every pitch against Howie Kendrick.
Well, Corbin had given up only 3 homers in 5 starts coming into today. He's given up 2 home runs this afternoon. Zimmerman a 2-run shot. And now Kendrick a solo homer. That's been all the Washington scoring. 0-1 on Michael A. Taylor, the center fielder.
4th career home run for Howie Kendrick against the Diamondbacks. To go along with that near .340 batting average.
Yeah, Kendrick the last several years, mostly with the Dodgers, has had nothing but hit after hit against the D-backs. 70 pitches for Patrick Corbin, 50 strikes. That one sailed on him.
Zoom ball.
I don't know how that finger feels, but don't notice any ill effects. Doesn't seem to be bothering him.
You got to stop that, Torrey. You're going to end up looking like me. It's a natural reaction for a manager just to rub your head when you're thinking of things, and you do that often enough, you got no hair left.
That's a fair ball down the left field line. It caroms off the seats out there. And Taylor has his 6th double. And Corbin had been relatively comfortable 5 in a row, but a couple of 2-out hits here.
Well, that's just nice hitting. It looked like the back knee almost dropped all the way to the ground to get underneath that slider and hook it down that left field line.
Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, out to the mound to talk to Corbin. Bullpen is quiet for the Diamondbacks.
I think this is more of a strategy meeting. You do have first base open. It's probably just a question for Patrick Corbin. Would you rather face Moises Sierra with 2 outs and a runner at second base, or Adrian Sanchez with 2 outs and runners at first and second? I think we know Patrick well enough to say that he's probably going to go right after this guy.
This is Moises Sierra, the left fielder. He has struck out, tapped back to the mound 0 for 2. He struck out in both his at-bats in last night's series opener. Sierra seeing some time in the outfield for the Nats this year. His first major league appearances since the 2014 season. He's been with the Blue Jays and the White Sox earlier in his career. It's 0-1.
Intentional walks are not a big part of the Diamondbacks game plan. I mean, there are obvious situations where it just screams out for an intentional walk, but Torrey and Mike Butcher have enough confidence in their pitching staff that they will make the proper pitches. If they jump ahead in the count, go ahead and try to finish the guy off. If you fall behind in the count, you still have first base open.
And they'll make sure to keep Taylor close down there. He's 2nd in the majors with 9 stolen bases this year. Although this is not a situation in which you'd really try and steal 3rd with 2 outs.
And with his speed, he can score from second on just about anything hit to the outfield.
Well, the breaking ball got away from Corbin, and Sierra will take first. Second hit batter for Patrick today.
Yeah, that was a little bit like the one that clipped Severino leading off that 3rd inning. That hard slider down and in that just keeps dive bombing. He actually took that off the inside of his right leg. That's how far that ball broke across the plate and down and into the right-handed hitter.
Now 2 on and 2 out, a run home on the Kendrick home run. And the batter is Adrian Sanchez, who doubled to lead off the 5th. Sanchez just called up for the minor leagues on Tuesday. Taylor is at second and Sierra's at first. There's that fastball, a hard sinker down and away, 0-1. Sanchez, a career .263 hitter over parts of a dozen seasons in the minor leagues. This is a guy who's been grinding in pro ball for a long time. Spots that pitch down and in. It's 0-2.
Takes two fastballs in the strike zone to start this sequence. We've seen the Nationals have much better passes at that Patrick Corbin slider. Maybe they've made up their mind to lay off the fastball and look for that breaking pitch. Michael Taylor was able to intercept that slider and hook it down into the corner.
Waves at another fastball. Corbin strands two, but he gives up one. Howie Kendrick's second home run in this series and his fourth of the year gives the Nationals a 3-2 lead. Patrick Corbin. We'll remind you fans, this baseball season, get the baseball game that will have you wanting to play it again. RBI Baseball 18, delivering an all-new franchise mode and a whole lot more. RBI Baseball 18 available now. Learn more, RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. New pitcher for the Nationals, the right-hander Brandon Kinsler, who had 28 saves as a Minnesota Twin last year, acquired at the trade deadline, and there he is again, his 13th appearance of this season. Christian Walker in at first base for Paul Goldschmidt today. Leads off the seventh. Goldie getting a scheduled day off, his first this year. Walker has hit into a double play and walked. He's 0 for 1. Nationals lead it 3-2, each team with 5 hits and 2 home runs. Peralta, a pair of solo shots for Arizona. For Washington, Zimmerman, a 2-run home run in the 3rd. Kendrick, a solo homer in the 6th. The last one broke up a 2-2 tie. That one off the glove at first, and Kinsler gets over there. The veteran Ryan Zimmerman, a tremendous play to recover and get Walker.
Occasionally, the guys on the opposite side of the field, and in this instance with the right-handed Christian Walker up there, the right side is the opposite side. Occasionally you get caught by surprise when a guy hits a ball hard your way. Zimmerman able to tackle that ball and stay with it. Kinsler continues on to the base, and they get the out.
Former All-Star third baseman. He's been at first the last several seasons. Ketel Marte, the second baseman, 0 for 2. Sanchez will come in a step or two at third.
Yeah, really no tricks to Kinsler out there. He's basically a sinker slider pitcher. He does have a changeup that he rarely uses, but just pounds that sinker down at the bottom of the zone, looking to get ground balls.
That one's low, 1-1. D-backs with a chance to make some history here this weekend. They've won their first 8 series to start the year. Last National League team to do that, the 1977 Dodgers. There's a strike, and it's 1-2. So a win in either of the next 2 games here in Washington. D-backs won last night. And they will tie the 2001 Seattle Mariners with 9 series victories to start the year. The Major League record is 11 by the 1907 Cubs. The catcher, Avila, on deck. In the air to center for Taylor.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Alex Avila has grounded out and singled. He's 1 for 2. Nationals will put the shift on. 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. Fastball's there, and it's 0-1. There you see Adrian Sanchez, the only defender on the left side, midway between second and third. Taylor in center, shaded over toward left center just a bit.
Yeah, Bryce Harper over toward the gap in right center. A lot of room down that right field line.
Breaking ball down there, and it's 0-2. Alex, a very slow start to the year, 4 for 35 with 18 strikeouts after signing a 2-year free agent deal. But he's hit the ball hard on this road trip. And a home run earlier this week at Philadelphia. Fastball off the plate. He doesn't bite. It's 1-2. Pretty dark here right now, just before 6 o'clock in the evening local time. Heavy cloud cover overhead. Lights have been on all day. Fastball in there. Kinsler rings him up. We stretch in D.C. It's 3-2 National. 3-2. Fans, this summer the World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. Every match live, over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. Patrick Corbin back out there to start the home half of the 7th. Bullpen quiet for Arizona. And the Nationals catcher Pedro Severino will lead it off. Pitcher spot behind him, Wilmer Defoe, is in the on-deck circle for Washington. Nationals lead at 3-2, each team with 5 hits. And this one is sent out to left field. Peralta cuts it off. A long single for Severino starts the Washington 7th.
Corbin tried to throw a second slow breaking ball up there to Severino. This time he left it way up in the zone at 68 miles an hour. See that front foot come down, the hands stay back. Still has plenty left to drive that ball down in the left field corner.
He's aboard to lead off the inning. Corbin at 80 pitches, 57 strikes. And Defoe will hit for Kinsler. Wilmer Defoe, the switch hitter, batting an even 200. Pulls back and takes a strike at 0-1. Defoe 0 for 3 in the series opener last night. He started at third. Drove in a run with a fly ball. A fly ball into left center field on which A.J. Pollock made a tremendous diving catch. Bullpen starts to get busy for Arizona. The right-hander Fernando Salas.
Well, that wind has really turned around here at Nationals Park. It was kind of blowing from right to left earlier in the ball game. Now it's blowing exactly the opposite, from the left field corner to the right field corner.
That's by a diving Marte into center. Severino stops at second. 2 on and no outs, and now the top of the order comes up.
I wonder if that hand is starting to bother Patrick Corbin a little bit. His command had been so good all day long. He's left a couple pitches up in the zone, and the Nationals have made him pay.
Trey Turner walked, stole a base, and scored a run in the 3rd. He's 0 for 2.
You have to at least respect the possibility of a bunt right here for Trey Turner. Maybe a bunt for a base hit. Maybe a sacrifice bunt. Diamondbacks not quite sure what to expect here from Trey Turner. Swinging away.
Got the slider, 0-1. Severino's getting a pretty healthy secondary lead back there at second. 1-1 on Trey Turner. Ketel Marte shoveled past to Nick Ahmed, and they rolled the double play. Patrick Corbin, one of the better ground ball pitchers in the major leagues last year, got a big ground ball right there, and now it's Severino at third with 2 outs.
Needless to say, Trey Turner's not an easy guy to double up. You need a hard hit ball right at somebody, and that's what Patrick Corbin was able to dial up right there. Strong throw on to first by Nick Ahmed, just in time to get Turner.
Well, Zimmerman will be the hitter, with Severino down there at third. Salas warming up with the bullpen, and Patrick Corbin's day will end right here. We'll take a break from Nats Park.
done. He is responsible for the runner at third base. Hey fans, a day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Well, on to try and strand that runner Severino at third is the veteran right-hander Fernando Salas, who split last year with the Mets and Angels. He signed a minor league deal with the D-backs this spring, and he has been outstanding since the first day he showed up. A 1.76 ERA in a dozen appearances. Zimmerman, who homered in the third, is the batter. Came inside, checked his swing. This was Zimmerman after Trey Turner walk in the third.
Barreled it up just to the right of straightaway center field. That's a strong man.
His fourth of the year. Got the call away. Nick Lentz says strike two. Severino, the catcher, down there at third, with Bobby Henley, the coach. D-backs bullpen, one of the keys to success this year. The best record in the National League at 18-7, and they have the lowest bullpen ERA in the majors, and by a wide margin. Salas has been a big reason why.
Yeah, his ERA at 1.76.
Descalso at third. Fernando Salas strands the runner. And we head to the eighth inning. D-backs trail the Nationals 3-2. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand at home, in the office, on the go with MLB.tv. It includes MLB at Bat Premium. That lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply, so check out MLB.tv for details. New pitcher for Washington, the right-hander Ryan Madsen. And Ahmed knocks this one into right field, a leadoff single, and here comes Paul Goldschmidt to hit for the pitcher. Madsen got Goldie to ground out to third in the eighth inning last night. He retired Goldschmidt and Pollock on ground balls. So here is the D-backs MVP candidate. .278, 4 home runs. He singled and scored last night. He was 1 for 4.
I'm not sure how Torey Lovullo handled it with Paul Goldschmidt giving him the day off today, but I used to tell my guys, hey, you're the secret weapon today. You're just not starting the game, but you're going to have a big effect on it.
Got a fastball up. 0-1. Well, he's got a chance to have a big effect right here. Torey Lovullo playing his ace in the deck here. Another fastball, another swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Goldie, a slow start this year, 3 for 30. But that seems a distant memory. Last 16 games, he's hitting nearly .370. 12 extra base hits. Lays off a fastball upstairs. A ball and 2 strikes.
Possible pickoff attempt there from Severino, but he lost the handle on the baseball coming up out of his crouch.
Ahmed is the tying run. It's very odd lighting right now. We've got heavy dark clouds overhead. There's sunshine off to the left. The lights are on here. It's just about 6:15 in the evening local time. Peralta, who's homered twice, is on deck. That's headed for the seats at out of play.
Nick Ahmed got a little overly aggressive last night, broke for second base while the pitcher was still standing on the rubber, and the Nationals were able to get him at second base. Uncharacteristic base running mistake by the Diamondbacks. Normally very solid.
All fastballs from Madsen, and Goldie goes down swinging.
Okay, all those fastballs up in the mid to upper 90s. That one up letter high. Tough to catch up to that one.
Well, it looks like you've got a couple of lefties going down there in the Washington bullpen. And here comes the left-hand hitting Peralta, who has homered in his last 2 at bats. First multi-home run game of David's career. There's a fastball in. 0-1.
Really surprised Dave Martinez didn't go to one of his 2 lefties he has warming up down there in the bullpen. You got Peralta at the plate now with 2 bombs already in the game and another left-handed hitter on deck.
This is rolled through the hole. Peralta shoots it the other way. Ahmed digging for third, and he's in there. David Peralta's 3rd hit today puts the tying run 90 feet away with 1 out.
Like a hanging changeup that time, up and out over the plate. David stays right on it, takes advantage of that big hole on the left side, and very aggressive base running that time by Nick Ahmed. All right in front of him in left field, ran right in the face of Moises Sierra.
And now Davey Martinez will visit Ryan Madsen out there. No signal as of yet. He's got lefties ready in the bullpen and a left-hand batter coming up. It's Madsen's ball game. Gerard Dyson will be the hitter. He's 0 for 3.
We know Dave Martinez 10 years as a bench coach under Joe Madden in Tampa and Chicago, and one of Joe Madden's favorite plays was always that safety squeeze with runners at first and third and less than 2 outs. See if Torey Lovullo turns the tables on him here with Jarrod Dyson, a real good bunter at the plate.
Good location on that fastball, just under the hands. Dyson 0 for 7 in the series, coming off a very productive series at Philadelphia. Now Severino wants to signal some defensive plays.
That's in the event that David Peralta breaks for second base. Severino just wanted to alert the infielders where he's going to throw the ball, either through to second base, straight to third base, or just fake a throw and hold it.
Fastball too far in. Dyson, a big series in Philadelphia to open up this Diamondbacks road trip. 4 hits, including 2 home runs. D-backs took 2 of 3 at Citizens Bank Park. Archie Bradley, the bearded wonder. The right-hander, the veteran Jorge De La Rosa, the lefty in the D-back bullpen. This is popped up along the left field line. Sierra right on the line in fair territory. Ahmed comes off the bag, and he'll have to stay put as Sierra gets it back in quickly. So it worked out for Dave Martinez.
Yeah, just too shallow for Nick Ahmed to do anything at third. However, David Peralta, when he saw that throw sail over the cutoff man, could have continued on to second base and forced Severino to make the decision. Am I going to throw through to second? Am I just going to hold that runner at third and concede the bag?
Biggest at bat in the ball game right here. A.J. Pollock 0 for 3. They're on the corners with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Pollock had 3 hits last night, including a home run and a triple. Both of those hits coming against Steven Strasburg, last night's starter for Washington. Fastball is low. Pollock leads off the second. An 0-2 pitch to center field. His 6th home run of the year. He later tripled off the wall in right center, just missed another home run. And this one is banged into left field. Ahmed scores, and the D-backs have tied it at 3. A.J. Pollock, stay hot.
Boy, he is just locked in right now at the plate. Got a mid-90s fastball down there around the knees and just rips it into left field for an RBI base hit.
He has carried the ball for the D-backs in this series, and they've come from behind again to tie it up. Here's Descalso, 2 for 3 with a pair of singles.
A.J. Pollock, a .350 hitter this year with runners in scoring position. That'll go up a little bit.
And again, Dave Martinez has 2 left-hand relievers standing and watching in the Nationals bullpen. And you've got a pretty good left-hand batter up there in Descalso. He will stick with Madsen. Descalso had a double last night. He knocked in 2 runs. 2 for 3 today. There's a fly ball. Harper got a late break, but he runs it down in right. D-backs get 3 hits and the equalizer. We're tied at 3 in D.C. to you by CenturyLink. The series finale here at Nats Park tomorrow. Robbie Ray and Gio Gonzalez, a matchup of left-handers. We'll have it for you on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondback Live pregame show comes your way at 9:30 a.m. It's breakfast with the D-backs. Archie Bradley and Bryce Harper. The battle of the beards to start off the bottom of the 8th inning. There is Archie Bradley. He has become a sensation for this D-backs ball club. Former first-round pick out of Oklahoma. Broken Arrow High School. This is down the left field line, but foul. Bradley got 3 outs on 11 pitches in the ball game last night. He worked a 1-2-3/8. Harper singled in the first. He's 1 for 3. '96, and Archie Bradley blows him away.
Wow. Here's my best fastball. I'm going to throw it to you 3 times. See what you can do with it. That time Archie Bradley won the battle. All fastballs, 94, 94, and then 96 right down the middle of the plate.
That is Archie Bradley's game. A lot of hard fastballs. Check swing roller back to the mound from Kendrick, and quickly 2 down. You'll see the occasional knuckle curveball from Archie Bradley, but it's pretty much straight heat.
And Torey Lovullo this year, for those of you not familiar with the Diamondbacks, he's got Yoshi Hirano, Archie Bradley, and Brad Boxberger down there to close out ball games. And depending on where you're at in the opposition's lineup will determine who pitches. Going to Bryce Harper, Howie Kendrick, and Michael A. Taylor here in this inning. Torey decided to go with Archie Bradley.
Here is Taylor. He doubled his last time up 1 for 3. Yeah, the back end of this D-backs bullpen has been one reason why the group collectively has been so successful. Hirano, Bradley, Boxberger all worked perfect 1-2-3 innings last night. All with a 1-run lead. Walker in foul of Brown. They bring in the beard. And he makes short work of the Nationals in the 8th inning. We hit the 9th, tied at 3. Our Gila River game summary. First career multi-home run game for David Peralta. A pair of solo shots. A.J. Pollock, a big 2-out RBI single in the 8th inning to get the equalizer. And now here we are in the 9th. Christian Walker against Nationals closer Sean Doolittle, who comes on for the second game in a row. He worked 1 inning last night. Doolittle 20 strikeouts this year in 11 innings.
Against only 3 base on balls. He has given up a couple of bombs.
And as we said last night, sort of the left-hand version of Archie Bradley. Walker has walked today. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice, once into a double play. And now he's behind 0 balls and 2 strikes. Christian Walker, the start at first base on the Goldie scheduled off day today. Goldie struck out as a pinch hitter against Ryan Madsen in the 8th inning. That one sailed on Doolittle. 1-2. Doolittle worked the 9th inning last night, struck out Descalso, got ground balls from Marte and Ahmed. 3 outs on 8 pitches.
I think that one got in on Christian Walker's kitchen a little bit there, broke the bat.
D-backs have opened up this year 9-4 on the road for the first time in 18 years. Arizona has never started a season 10-4 on the road. And if they can win this one, they'll get there. They'll also have clinched their 9th consecutive series victory to begin a season. Last major league team to do that, the 0-1 Seattle Mariners. 1-2 on Christian Walker. Off the plate. Good take by Walker. It's 2-2. Another fastball up from Doolittle, full count. Ketel Marte on deck.
Power against power. Doolittle just rearing back, throwing low to mid-90s fastballs. Christian Walker, a real good fastball hitter, just looking for something middle of the plate in.
Christian Walker last year at AAA Reno led all of minor league baseball in RBIs and extra base hits. 32 homers, a new Reno single season record. And he strikes out on another fastball to open up the 9th inning.
Held high out over the plate. Big swing that time. Walker trying to do some serious damage. Comes up empty.
The switch hitting Ketel Marte will bat from the right side now. He's 0 for 3. 0 for 4 last night. Fastball misses just below the knee. D-backs this spring made a long-term investment in Ketel Marte. He got a contract extension, $24 million over 5 years. Fights this one off. Sierra coming in from left field. Turner tracks it down from shortstop. 2 up, 2 down for Doolittle. And now with the left-hander Doolittle out there, John Ryan Murphy, one of the 3 D-backs catchers, will hit for the left-hand batting Alex Avila. John Ryan, 231, a pair of homers. Yoshihisa Hirano and Brad Boxberger, the closer, who both pitched in last night's ball game, getting loose to the D-back bullpen.
0-1.
This is Murphy's 9th appearance off the bench for Torey Lovullo, the most used pinch hitter for the Diamondbacks this year. Sharing time, as you mentioned, behind the plate with Jeff Mathis and Alex Avila.
Well, Doolittle clearly not afraid to throw his fastball. A strike away here in the 9th. Popped it up. Zimmerman calling forward at first. Gives way to Kendrick. Doolittle a 1-2-3 ninth. Home half coming up from Nats Park in D.C.
Bob Brenly, Todd Walsh with you. Bottom of the 9th here at Nats Park. The new pitcher for Arizona, the right-hander Yoshihisa Hirano, a veteran of Japan's Pacific League, where he's put up 156 career saves. But a major league rookie now at the age of 34 after getting a 2-year deal in December to join the D-backs.
Very impressive outing for Hirano in the ball game last night. Came on to pitch the 7th inning and struck out the side.
Moises Sierra is the scheduled hitter, the left fielder. Instead, it'll be big city Matt Adams, who started last night's game in left field. He singled twice and scored a run. As you mentioned last night, Bob, Adams a first baseman by trade. If this game does go into extra innings, it'll be a little bit of a defensive liability out there if he takes his place in left.
You do have Andrew Stevenson available off the bench as well to go in and play defense if you choose to go that direction.
Hirano's got a low 90s fastball and a wicked split finger pitch. That was it right there. He left it up and Adams yanked it foul down the right field line. Yoshihisa Hirano, 11 seasons in Japan's Pacific League with the Oryx Buffaloes. He's been one of Japan's top closers. Last year 29 saves and a 2.67 ERA in just under 60 appearances for
the Buffaloes. Tap back to the mound. Yoshi's got it. And they retire Adams to start the bottom of the ninth. D-backs, when they saw Hirano and thought about signing him, GM Mike Hazen said it, they really like the stuff. The fastball, the splitter, they thought it would play very well at the back end of this bullpen, and so far so good. And there's also the experience factor as well. Adrian Sanchez, the third baseman. He's leaving that pitch up.
Dangerous pitch to leave up in the zone. Anything off speed, even though that splitter has quite a bit of downward movement, if you throw it up there above the belt, it doesn't dive as much as it will if you keep it down around the knees. Another one up there.
Yeah, he's missing by a lot with that pitch, but so far so good. He's living dangerously. The left-hander Sammy Solis continues to warm up in the Nationals bullpen.
A pitcher spot is due up second for the Diamondbacks in the top half of the 10th, should we get there. So Hirano only on for one inning here.
Fastball up, and Sanchez can't lay off.
It's not an overpowering fastball, low 90s. He's consistently around 91, 92 with that heater, but has great command of it. That time elevated and got the swing and a miss.
The catcher Pedro Severino has been hit by a pitch and singled. He's 1 for 2. The clouds that were off to our left here have pretty much moved on, and now the center fielder AJ Pollock has got some sunlight to deal with. Dyson in right field a bit as well. Haven't seen the sun in a while here this afternoon. It's been pretty gray and cloudy most of the day. The lights have been on here, but now we see some sunshine out there in the field. So for an unusual starting time, 4:05 in the afternoon, the shadows really haven't been a big deal.
Yeah, they were able to dodge the shadows because of the overcast we had most of the afternoon.
1-1 on Severino. There's that split down. That's been so effective for him. 1-2.
Yeah, when he keeps that ball down there around knee level, look at that movement down, straight down.
John Ryan Murphy back there for Alex Avila after Murphy pinch hit. He wants it up here. Nope.
I think that's a decoy. I've seen John Ryan Murphy do that a couple of times, especially in 2 strike counts. Give an early target up high and then drop down into your crouch and receive the pitch that you called for. Just trying to bait the hitter into thinking he's getting a high fastball in that 2 strike count.
Murphy is considered to be a superior pitch framer back there. 2-2 to Severino. Bounce to splitter, and it's full. Looks like Stevenson is in the on-deck circle. He would hit for the pitcher. Andrew Stevenson started last night's game in center field. Three balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. It's belted to center. Pollock coming on, and he makes a nice running grab. We'll play extras at Nationals Park. D-backs and Nats tied at 3. Left-hander Sammy Solis comes on for Washington. He threw 5 pitches in the ball game last night. This is 15th appearance of the year. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, leads off the Arizona 10th inning. Matt Adams, who hit for Sierra, takes over in left field.
Thought we might see a double switch there. We saw Andrew Stevenson in the on deck circle was going to hit for the pitcher spot if we had gotten down there.
This is lifted to right center field. Harper and Taylor on the run. It gets down on the track, and Ahmed is in at second base. Nick Ahmed started off the 8th inning with a single and scored. Now he starts off the 10th with his 5th double this year.
Boy, that wind we talked about that was blowing from right to left earlier in the game has turned around, blowing left to right. That might have helped that ball tail away from Michael Taylor out there in the gap in right center. By the time he retrieves it, Nick's on at second base with that leadoff double.
And now Devin Marrero will hit for the pitcher. Marrero, 219. He's knocked in 5 runs this year. The right hand bat off the bench to face the lefty Solis with a go ahead run at scoring position to open up the 10th inning.
Yeah, Nationals expecting a bunt. Sanchez drawn in at third. Zimmerman even with the baseline at first. Well, no sign of a bunt. Tried to shoot that ball to the right side. Brought his hands in close to his body. Tried to bang it on the ground to the right side to move Ahmed up to third base. Now a long look down to Tony Parashika, the third base coach.
All 5 of Devin Marrero's RBIs this year have come against left-hand pitching. He hit just over 290 versus lefties with the Red Sox last year. Sanchez on the grass at third. Devin Marrero, runners in scoring position this year. There's the 5 RBIs, 3 for 5. Swinging away, a fastball in, 0-2.
And again, making an effort to shoot that ball to the right side. Talked about the Diamondbacks don't like the intentional walk very much. They don't like the sac bunt very much either. Especially a guy like Devin Marrero, who has a reputation of being a good handler of the bat, can move the ball to the right side of the field. So Torrey let him take a couple of shots that direction. Now he's going to have to battle. Still trying to shoot the ball that way, even in the 2-strike count.
A chance to knock in the go-ahead run for Torey Lovullo. He backs with the National League's best record coming into today, 18-7. Ahmed the go-ahead run at second, nobody out. Boxberger, the closer, is ready. De La Rosa back there, the left-hander, bullpen coach Mike Fetters. 0-2 on Devin Marrero.
Still trying to move the ball to the right side.
You used the operative word there. He's battling. Marrero's all armored up there. Another fastball. If Solis can get through Marrero, he's got a couple of lefties coming up in Peralta and Dyson. Out of play. Nice grab in the front row.
Nice job, lefty. That's why you bring your glove to the ballpark. Back up first baseman.
Yeah, about that. Well, he's right behind first base. His natural position, apparently. Well, he finally got the breaking ball, and Solis gets the strikeout.
Yeah, everything he had thrown had been hard, so he takes a little bit off that breaking ball. Gets Marrero way out in front that time. Nice effort by Devin Marrero, just could not get the ball fair to right field.
David Peralta 3 for 4. His first career multi-home run game, a pair of solo shots in the 4th and 6th. Ahmed at second and 1 out. Fastball up. Nick Lentz says no, it's 1-0. Peralta 4 hits in Philadelphia to open up this road trip. He doubled and homered, knocked in 5. Was 0 for 4 from the leadoff spot here last night. But today he's homered twice and singled. Solis misses low. Peralta's ahead, 2 balls and no strikes.
Peralta does a pretty good job of hanging in there against left-handed pitching. A .250 hitter on the season. He does have a home run against the left-hander this year.
Checks on the 2-0. It's in there. Davey Martinez has a right-hander warming up in the bullpen. Looks like Austin Adams down there. The 2-1 to David Peralta. Chased a low fastball, and it's 2-2.
Solis being very quick to the plate with Nick Ahmed running out there at second base. Diamondbacks like to steal third base when they get a pitcher who doesn't pay much attention, but Solis is paying a lot of attention and unloading quickly to home plate.
It's down and away. It's full. Gerard Dyson on deck. Diamondbacks have out hit the Nationals 9-7. Go ahead run down there at second with 1 out in the 10th.
Now Solis has a definite idea what he wants to throw right here. Unfortunately for the Nationals, Severino can't seem to find the right pitch.
Long set of signs. Fastball up. Peralta works a walk. 2 on and 1 out for Dyson. It's another reason why Peralta's been so good in the leadoff role. He handles lefties just fine.
Handles lefties fine. He's much more patient this year than he's been in the past.
And now with a left-hander out there, Torey Lovullo will go to his right-hand right field option. Chris Owings in the on-deck circle. Davey Martinez ready with his right-hander Austin Adams in the bullpen.
Nick.
We'll take a break from Nats Park, tied at 3. Who went out to get his pitcher before the pinch hitter Chris Owings was announced, so Owings can go back to the dugout, and Jarrod Dyson, the left-hand batter, can indeed take his at bat against the new right-hand pitcher. It's Austin Adams, who worked Wednesday against the Giants, called up from AAA Syracuse just about a week ago. Owings was standing out in the on-deck circle for the D-backs, helmet on, set to hit. Martinez went out to get the lefty Solis and put in his right-hander, but Owings had not been announced as the official pinch hitter, so Dyson is still available to take the at-bat. And Martinez was out there throughout that pitching change, arguing with plate umpire Nick Lentz and crew chief Mike Winters, the second base ump. But I think he got fooled on that one, Bob.
Stop by Severino right there. Yeah, there's a definite protocol when it comes to putting a player into the ball game. Just because he's standing in the on-deck circle doesn't necessarily mean you have to send him up there to hit. The umpire will look at the manager and the bench. The manager will point at the pinch hitter. The umpire will then alert the press box, and only then is he announced as the pinch hitter. That never happened. Nick Lentz never indicated that Chris Owings was the pinch hitter.
So now Torey Lovullo has his left-hand batter in there against the new righty Austin Adams, who's fallen behind 3-0. A.J. Pollock, who had an RBI single to tie the game in the 8th inning, is on deck. Is that a situation where, you know, one of the bench coaches or one of the coaches in the dugout might grab Davey by the back of the belt and go, "Whoa, hold on there just a minute"?
Yeah. You hope that one of your coaches is paying attention to the home plate umpire and what's going on with that substitute player. But yeah, apparently Davey either got out of the dugout before anybody could grab him or nobody alerted him.
3-1 on Jarrod Dyson. Fastball is low and the bases are full. Back-to-back one-out walks following the Ahmed double. And Derek Lilquist, the pitching coach, is out there to talk to Austin Adams, as A.J. Pollock, the red hot A.J. Pollock, will be the hitter.
Well, if Derek Lilquist has any answers of how to get A.J. Pollock out right now, I'm sure everybody will listen, because A.J. is one of the hottest hitters in the game right now.
A.J. last night, a homer, a single, and a triple. This was his base hit with 2 outs in the 8th that tied the game at 3. And now he's up there with the bases full and 1 out.
The Nationals playing in on the corners. The middle infielders are about halfway. A slowly hit ball, they'll probably try to come home to just get the out. A hard hit ball, they might try to turn 2 up the middle.
Slider misses down and away. It's 1-0. A.J. today 1 for 4. Ahmed is the go-ahead run at third. Peralta at second and Dyson at first. Good speed on the bases for the Diamondbacks. All these guys can run, especially Dyson. All right, another slider, and Adams keeps falling way behind in these counts. 7 pitches so far, only 1 strike. That one bounces back toward the mound, and Adams is there to cover it off Severino and back out almost toward third base.
A big break for the Nationals right there. That very easily could have gone underneath the shin guard of Severino all the way to the backstop, but as it is, he kind of kick saves it right back to his pitcher.
Well, he walked Dyson. Now he's 3-0 on Pollock with the bases full. Descalso, who's 2 for 4 today, is on deck. 1 more ball and the D-backs take the lead.
Yeah, Torrey likes to give his hitters the green light, 3-0, but I think in this situation, given what we've seen from Adams, you got to take a strike.
8 pitches so far, 7 balls. Here's the 3-0. Right down the middle. Sarcastic applause from the Nationals fans.
That always helps.
Sure. We're here right behind you.
Win or tie.
3-1. Another fastball right down Main Street. Full count, 3-2. Well, we saw Adams go to that slider a lot as soon as he got in the ball game. Let's see what he has for Pollock on 3-2. He missed with it, trying to slider, and he walked in the go-ahead run. 3 consecutive bases on balls by the Nationals bullpen, and it's 4-3 Diamondbacks.
Oh, what a good at bat by A.J. Pollock. I mentioned one of the hottest hitters in the game right now. You know he wanted to swing the bat right there and make something happen, but laid off that slider low and away to drive home the go-ahead run.
And now you've got the left-hand batting Daniel Descalso coming up. Davey Martinez going back to the bullpen. We'll take a break from D.C. 8 big league seasons, the last 2 in Milwaukee. Signed with the Nationals on a minor league deal at the end of spring training.
Yeah, he pitched in 139 ball games the last 2 years for the Brewers. Went 7-7 with 33 holds. He did save 3 games.
D-backs have taken a 4-3 lead. Matt Wieters replaces Severino behind the plate. Here's Daniel Descalso. Base is still loaded, 1 out. Descalso 2 for 4. He singled twice. Peralta's at third, Dyson at second, and Pollock at first. Excellent speed on the bases. Check swing on the fastball. 1-1. That's curveball well offside off the plate there. Daniel Descalso can't believe it. He's got a pretty good case with Nick Lentz there. Along the left field line, drifting toward the seats and out of play. Brad Boxberger, the closer, got save number 7 last night on 10 pitches.
And we take shots at the bullpen when Brad Boxberger is down there, and you rarely see him throw a pitch.
He only needs a handful to get ready.
He said 6 to 8 pitches plus the 8 he gets on the game mound, and he's ready to go.
1-2. Wieters hangs on to the foul tip. Torres gets a big strikeout.
Well, Wieters had to use the whole glove that time. That ball was tipped by Daniel Descalso and almost snuck out the heel of the glove. Nice job to hang on right there.
This was the Paul Goldschmidt scheduled off day. Goldie did strike out as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning against Ryan Madsen. Christian Walker got the start at first base so far, 0 for 3 with a walk. Bases full of Diamondbacks and 2 outs. A run is in. Fastball under the whiskers there. 1-0. Boy, you look out at Matt Wieters. He's a big dude back there at 6'5".
Matt Wieters in his crouch is almost as tall as Gerard Dyson standing up.
Walker took a cut at a fastball. 1-1. Torres signed that minor league deal at the end of camp. Made 4 scoreless appearances at AAA with Syracuse and came up and joined the Nationals on April 7th. Trying to leave him loaded right here. Fastball in on the hands, and it's 1-2. Nationals in the bottom of the 10th inning will have Wieters, Turner, and Zimmerman due up 9-1-2. Boxberger, the closer, is ready in the bullpen. Brings him up on a pitch that was well inside. But the D-backs get the go-ahead run. They lead it 4-3. take a 4-3 lead. And here is the closer, Brad Boxberger. Got save number 7 here in the ball game last night. 3 outs on 10 pitches. He'll face Matt Wieters, Trey Turner, and Ryan Zimmerman, 9-1-2 in the Washington 10th.
Perfect 7 out of 7 in his save opportunities. You see the Nationals this season in one-run games, the worst record in the major leagues.
Defensive changes behind Boxberger. Devin Marrero stays in the game, takes over at third base for Daniel Descalso. Descalso moves to first, replacing Christian Walker. Here's Matt Wieters, who looks at strike 1. Wieters hitting .206 with 2 homers. He singled and walked last night, knocked in a run. Boxberger, low 90s fastball and an excellent changeup. Descalso's there at first. He calls off Boxberger, 1 away. The Diamondbacks, if they can hang on here, will clinch a series win. They won last night. That would be 9 consecutive series victories to start the season. No major league team has done that since the 2001 Seattle Mariners. They would also improve to 10-4 on the road for the first time in franchise history. Trey Turner. Fastball is low. It's 1-1. Boxberger, when he pitches this season in save situations, is 7 for 7 with an ERA of 0. That fastball is right on the corner, and he's ahead of Turner, 1-2. John Ryan Murphy behind the plate.
I still say Brad Boxberger bears a striking resemblance to Roy Oswalt.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Fastball, and he got Turner 2 down.
Well, you get a reputation as a guy with a real good straight changeup, and that makes your fastball that much better. Boxberger consistently in the low 90s with that heater, but to his credit, he usually keeps it out of the middle of the plate.
Ryan Zimmerman, the last man standing for Washington, a 2-run homer in the 3rd, his 4th of the year. Fastball right there. This was Zimmerman in the 3rd against Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, up and out over the plate. Unlike that first pitch that Boxberger threw in this at bat, which is at the knees out there on the outside corner. If it's up, Zimmerman can drive it to the opposite field.
Boxberger got him to tap back to the mound in the 9th inning last night. Fastball missed down and away. Brad Boxberger 3 years ago in Tampa Bay led the American League in saves. He's been hampered by injuries the last 2 years with the Rays, acquired by the Diamondbacks in the offseason. This is popped up first base side and out of play. 1-2 on Zimmerman with Harper on deck. Diamondbacks, the National League's best record right now, 18-7, matching the best start in club history. They've won 5 of 6. They've won all 8 series to start the year. Fastball is up and it's 2-2. You'd like to avoid, if you're the Diamondbacks, giving that guy a chance.
Fouled that one hard off the front foot. You see that protector guards the upper part of the ankle and the inside part of the heel, but nothing out there.
That's how Anthony
where that
Rendon,
one hit.
yeah, that's how Rendon hurt himself. He's still on the DL.
That'll be better in November.
Well, he's fine. Stop hurting, right? Because he's standing up. As you always say, it doesn't stop hurting.
It doesn't stop hurting. You just have to find a place to put it away.
A wild fastball, and it's full on Zimmerman, 3-2 with Bryce Harper on deck.
Fastball away.
Well, look where he's able to locate that pitch. It's remarkable.
Everything around the edges, around the bottom. When he elevates, it's right at the top or above. Just tries to stay out of the middle of that strike zone.
9th pitch coming up. Zimmerman knocks it into left field. Peralta will play it off the wall, and Zimmerman limps into second with a double. He's the tying run, and Harper's coming up.
Tried to come inside with a fastball, didn't get it in there far enough. I talked last night about Zimmerman, how he stands so far off the plate, you think you can paint that outside corner, but he can get to it. And he's also quick enough to get to an inside fastball.
And now Zimmerman will come out of the ball game, and we'll have a pinch runner. Rafael Bautista runs for Zimmerman. The intentional walk to Harper with first base open. And Diamondback fans might prefer Harper to Howie Kendrick. Kendrick has killed the D-backs throughout his career. He homered here in the 6th. He homered last night as well.
Only one previous at bat for Howie Kendrick against Brad Boxberger, and that resulted in a strikeout.
2 on and 2 out. Kendrick was a triple shy of the cycle last night, 3 for 5 with a homer. 1 for 4 today. He's hit safely in 6 straight games. He came into today hitting nearly .340 in his career against the Diamondbacks. Change up away, and Boxberger's behind 2-0. Murphy will make a mound visit.
That usually means Mike Butcher makes a mound visit as well. Butch headed out that direction. Why waste a mound visit?
Murphy stopped halfway there, turned and looked into the dugout. Are you coming or not? What are we doing? Ahmed in from shortstop.
And now it's turned into a team meeting on the mound. The entire infield, as well as the catcher, the pitching coach out there talking to Brad Boxberger.
Well, they count them now, but you still only get 30 seconds. Nick Lentz out there to break it up. Kendrick ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Bautista is the tying run at second base. Harper is the winning run at first. Off the changeup, and it's 3-0. Michael A. Taylor would be next. The bases are loaded with 2 outs.
If you didn't know better, you'd say that was a pitch around right there. It looked like they just wanted nothing to do with Howie Kendricks. You've got Michael A. Taylor making his way to the plate right now. He's never faced Brad Boxberger before.
And now a single could win the ball game. Taylor doubled in the sixth. He's 1 for 4. Bautista the tying run now at third. Harper is the winning run at second, and Kendricks at first. 2 outs in the 10th. On the ground is shortstop. Ahmed, shovel pass, and they got it. Box them up. The D-backs hang on and win it 4-3. They open 10-4 on the road for the first time in their history, and for the first time since the 2001 Seattle Mariners. A major league team has opened a season with 9 consecutive series victories.
Big day for David Peralta with a couple of home runs, a walk, and a single, but it was really the eye of the hitters for the Diamondbacks in that 10th inning, drawing 3 consecutive walks to take the lead in the game.
Here's Torey Lovullo checking in with Mike Everett, the crew chief. And the Diamondbacks hang on and get the win. They improved to 19-7. For those of you watching on FS1, we send you to our studio for more baseball coverage. Guys.